Hey horror fans, thanks for joining me for this review of Black Summer. Alright, cast and crew information down below. Let's jump into IMDb here. The plot goes as in the dark, early days of the zombie apocalypse, complete strangers band together to find the strength they need to survive and get back to loved ones. Okay, kind of vague there, but this is a series on Netflix, so I'm getting that right this time. This is on Netflix, kind of just stumbling around looking for something to watch, and landed on this one. And let's see. Uh, obviously didn't know about much about it. For whatever reason, I appears Netflix likes zombies. So I know some people are kind of over the zombies with The Walking Dead and some of the other shows that have been on and some of the other movies that have been done. They're a little maybe exhausted with zombies. But me, I'm fine. I mean, it works. It's horror, and I enjoy it when done right. And so this is, I believe, about 9 episodes, and it is season 1. And I guess the good thing is they say there's going to be a second season. I don't know when, but if you're a little bit worried about starting something that's just gonna have one season or be an epic fail here, this will at least have a second season. So that's good. I always get kind of disappointment. And another reason why I try not to jump into too many series. I kind of stumble on this one. But it's it kind of sucks when you start something and then that's it, and especially if they leave you kind of hanging there. Anyway, like it says, this is the early times here, and what they try to do is kind of introduce you to different characters and show you how they ultimately all come together. You have this isn't a story where they're all friends and so forth. Kind of like The Walking Dead. You have 2 or 3 people that may know each other, but ultimately it's a group of people who've never been together before, and obviously have to come together to survive. And so it really takes upon this angle and kind of shows you where certain characters are. As the apocalypse unfolds, as you start seeing these zombies appear and start seeing them attack different people, and you start seeing, the response and what people are trying to do, and I guess, in this small town or city or wherever it is that they are, basically trying to get out, and there's a little bit of an evacuation going on here, and I guess you see the main character. The main there are several important characters here, but I guess the main character here is starts with Rose and her husband and young daughter, who are trying to get on these military trucks and get out. I guess they're going to be taken to a safer location and so forth. Unfortunately, you find out that and they're very particular. I guess you have to have certain papers and so forth. But you find out that, as they move through the line and they get to her husband, that he's already been wounded. And, they're just not going to let him go. But the little girl is already on the truck. They let her get on the truck. Things kind of get chaotic, especially with the husband. And the truck takes off with their daughter. Obviously, from this point on, the only goal in her life is to be reunited with the daughter. But her and her husband cannot get on because he's hurt, so they go back to the house. They kind of regroup, and things then become very zombified from that point out. Not really, there's nothing really to spoil here. Once that happens, she's on her own, and she starts running into a character or two, with kind of the same goal is ultimately to get to where the army is taking all these people, which is supposedly a stadium. The stadium is maybe I missed it. I don't know. I don't know if it was either where the ultimate safety was going to be or where the army was going to come and pick up more people. But that is where everybody is trying to eventually get to, and that is kind of where, after the end of the seasons, that's where it kind of lands here, is in this stadium. In between that, and these episodes, I should say, vary in length. I think I saw. I don't usually pay attention. I just let the thing continue and play to the next one unless I have to stop it. But I think I saw one at like maybe 20 minutes. I saw another at maybe 33. So I guess they're just different lengths for whatever reason. But that's her story. Then there's a couple of other stories that kind of get together. Some other characters. I don't want to go character by character. There are there's a different set of them. I think what's kind of interesting is here there's a mix of men, women, and different races. There's a Asian girl in here. She doesn't speak English. There's a guy who appears to be Hispanic. I'm going to guess he's Hispanic. I'm sorry if he's not, but I believe he is, and I think they may have mentioned, I don't know. There's a black guy. Rose is a white woman. So you have a mix of characters here. So I thought that was good. Sometimes, in the zombie world, they tend to forget that we're all in this and may leave out a representation of a certain group. But we're all, when the world goes to hell, we're all in this, and you can probably see that as it is now. So it's a good mix of characters, men, women, and different backgrounds. And what I think one of the things I liked most about this is how they intertwine the stories. And what I mean by that is they basically have a meeting point where they kind of take you. And sometimes it's with the characters meeting, sometimes it may be an event that's happening or a location where people ultimately end up. But let's say they'll follow one character, they'll show a little bit of that, and then it stops. And another thing they do, sorry to break the momentum here, but one of the things they kind of do is they break down like all these segments into different titles. Almost like each segment is like a short film almost. I don't know if that's how they develop this whole thing or what their plan is here, but they'll have a segment, before the segment starts, they'll give it a name. And then it'll be a couple of minutes through, then it'll stop, the screen will turn black, a small title will come up, and then it'll roll the segment again. And as it kind of gets going and you kind of get into the flow of this or whatever, you can kind of play a guessing game of, okay, and, what does that mean? And you kind of guess at what's going to happen next. And in some places it's a little more obvious and other places it's not. And once you kind of get the hint of where it's going, so that's one thing to do. So when they do this, like I said, everything's kind of like segmented. So you may see one character, doing something and maybe heading towards one place, and then it'll stop, it'll break the segment, give it another name, and then you'll see another character, and events unfold with that character, then it'll break, come back, give a title, go maybe back to the other character, or maybe even maybe a third character, and then, kind of do that a couple of times, and then kind of bam, they bring it together. They bring it together either at a location or with something that happens. They'll make you realize something. But it's an interesting technique as far as they could have. I guess on a regular show, sometimes you have characters over here and you follow them, and then you kind of flip and follow the other characters over here, and then it's just like oh, okay, well, they happen to meet there. This one, I don't know, maybe it's the break, maybe it's the title, I don't know. It's just an interesting, different way of maybe doing the same technique, but I don't know, but making it seem different. I don't know if that makes any sense. um, but yeah, I mean, after a while, at first I was kind of like, what the hell are they doing? Um, but then, after you get through a couple of these episodes, you start getting in the flow of them, doing these breaks and kind of see um, that they lead you in these different directions with different characters. There's one where one of the characters goes on this. One of the episodes is just primarily this one character, and he just goes out on the run, and he's just running from one zombie and then another one, and most of the time he's just trying to survive, and he's just running and running here and there and hiding and fighting a little bit with the zombie and trying to get away. And then there's like a certain smaller event that happens, and you just think, oh, like, why did that happen? It had, it doesn't appear to have any meaning here. And then, you go forward an episode or two, and something happens, and you're like, oh, okay, so that's why that happened. And then, on top of it, the character kind of realizes something, and he's like, he's having a, oh, okay, kind of moment, because he realizes the connection to another character, and then you're like, oh, okay, so that's why that happened. Again, I don't know if that makes any sense, but that is what it is. So yeah, there's a lot of connections here or there between the episodes, different things that happen. Sometimes things that happen that don't make any sense, like I don't know if I missed it along the lines, but one of their things is they try to go looking for weapons, and then in one of the later episodes they end up in this place, and when they kind of actually form a group, when there is a point where all these characters kind of merge together, and they finally kind of form this group, which I think you'll see moving forward, especially into season 2. But you see them go into this building in search of weapons, but they kind of go in with a strategy and a way that they're going to go about basically robbing these people. But it's a place that seems kind of odd because it seems like it's secluded from the apocalypse that's happening, but is aware of what's happening. And it appears that at least one of the characters knows about this place. So I don't know. Maybe I missed something along the lines here. Why and how they got to this place and so forth. But anyway, I guess I have to mention the zombies before wrapping this up. These are not slow-moving zombies. I'm not gonna say that they're overly creative as far as something where The Walking Dead is, where their face is very deformed and stuff like that. These are more fresh-looking zombies. Very still to their human form, but have blood on them. Either blood from eating somebody, blood of their own from however they died. That kind of zombie thing going here. This is not a we've been dead for a long time, we've come from the grave kind of zombie thing here. They are running zombies. These are also not, just stroll around zombies here. They are running. They do chase people down, and they seem to have some strength to them. They're either the people in the movie, in this series, are just doing a bad job of trying to kill them, or these zombies have some strength to them, because they're not. The people are not easily taking them down. Let's put it that way. It's difficult, and not all of them have weapons, which is another problem here. But there is a lot of them. Sometimes it's one or two, and sometimes it's larger groups. There's mention of a horde at one point, so that they're out there, and obviously and it also plays in the rule of, if somebody dies, seconds later they come back a zombie. So it also plays into that kind of zombie madness as well. So yeah, not all that creative as far as the makeup and trying to come up with crazy designs of the zombies, but the fact that they are apparently kind of strong and very fast, and smart too. They're not stupid. They'll if they think you're there, they'll chase you down. So they're not completely dumb either. Um, so there, so I, not the most amazing zombies, but they have some good points to them, and they're certainly interested in killing. What they I guess they don't do a lot of is the blood and guts thing. Like if there are some times where zombies will jump on somebody, but they're not really zooming in, and you're getting to see them tear somebody apart. So you know that I'm a blood and guts person, so it's a little disappointing not to get into the blood and guts of the matter. But it is what it is. So at the end of the day, this is season one. I think I'm just gonna give it a 2.5 because I feel like I want to see more before I kind of give it a bigger score, or I don't, I think it's a little early to say, oh, this is amazing. I think it's worth a watch. Again, it's about these characters, and I would say maybe you won't find them to be the most amazing characters, and since it is only season one, you don't know. You get to know a little about them, but not totally about them. Some of them, one or two of them, may have some secrets. You kind of know a little bit more about Rose than maybe some of the other ones that you don't know about. So maybe in a season two, you get a little bit more background on some of the characters that maybe you don't know as much about, and maybe that's something more to offer. I think, one of the things, obviously, like I said, of why this has probably been presented is the way they pieced it together, and the way they do these segments, and eventually lead them and combine them together. So if you kind of like that idea, or the way they do that, you might enjoy that as well. I give them credit for kind of trying this technique. It's not totally new, and like I said, it is similar to the way you usually watch something. They just kind of try to trick your mind into seeing it broken up with different titles and so forth. But I like it. It makes this its own. Like I say, it makes it stand out, or at least makes this its own thing as far as just watching another zombie series. But if you're tired of zombies, then I don't blame you either. I'm still waiting to get more fill of my Korean zombies, but to their credit, these are fast. I don't know. I don't know if I ever really felt as scared as I was of the Korean zombies, but these are definitely fast and crazy zombies as well. So yeah, I'm gonna give this 2.5 for now, and hopefully season 2 will come along and I get to catch that, and then maybe see where my rating changes. Did it get worse? Did it get better? See what happens. See what they do with the story. See if season 2 they kind of follow the same formula. Hopefully they do, and we'll see. So yeah, again, that is Black Summer season 1, and that is on Netflix. And more information, a little bit more information down below. You can find more video reviews at horrorgoryreviews.blogspot.com, as well as written reviews. And you can also subscribe to the channel. That's the fastest way to get the video reviews, if that's what you guys like. You can also find out down below social media information, and you can always hit me up with, if you want to talk about this title, other titles, you want me to review something. Happy to do so if I can. Always busy reviewing and promoting horror at promotehorror.com. But I try to get in as much as I can. So with that, I guess I will catch you on the next review, horror fans.